When the maid knocked on room 3327, she expected to collect dirty towels. Instead, she found one of history's greatest minds lying dead on his bed. But what horrified investigators even more was what happened next. Within hours, the FBI stormed the hotel and seized every single paper in the room. They claimed national security. But the dead man wasn't a spy or a soldier. He was an inventor who had changed the entire world. And yet, he died completely alone, penniless and obsessed with a white pigeon. Nikola Tesla gave humanity the modern age, but the modern age gave him nothing in return. His final years descended into madness, poverty, and isolation. When a country needed his brilliance for war, they took everything he owned. Tragically, the secrets they found would remain classified for decades. And the mystery of what really killed Tesla still haunts us today. Nikola Tesla was born in 1856 in what is now Croatia, but his birthplace was marked by an omen. The night he entered the world, a violent lightning storm raged outside. The midwife saw this as a bad sign and declared the baby would be a child of darkness. Tesla's mother had a different vision. She looked at her newborn son and said he would be a child of light. She had no idea how right she would be. Tesla's mind worked differently from everyone else's. He could visualize inventions in 3 dimensions inside his head, building and testing them without ever touching a tool. This gift would make him a genius, but it also made him strange. Even as a young man, he displayed peculiar behaviors that others found disturbing. He became obsessed with the number 3, walking around buildings 3 times before entering. He counted his steps and made sure they were divisible by 3. If he started eating, he calculated the cubic volume of his food before taking a bite. Friends found these habits eccentric, but Tesla insisted they were necessary. In 1884, Tesla arrived in America with 4 cents in his pocket, a book of poetry, and a letter of recommendation. The letter introduced him to Thomas Edison, and it said, "This man knows nearly nothing, but he will achieve everything." Tesla got a job working for Edison, and the 2 men could not have been more different. Edison believed in direct current electricity and refused to consider alternatives. Tesla saw a better way. He envisioned alternating current, a system that could power entire cities. When Tesla proposed his idea, Edison laughed at him and offered him $50,000 if he could improve Edison's direct current motors. Tesla worked day and night for months and succeeded. But when he asked for his payment, Edison refused. He told Tesla that Americans don't understand your sense of humor. Tesla quit immediately. He spent the next year digging ditches for $2 a day, his engineering degree worthless. Workers mocked him, having no idea they were insulting one of history's greatest minds. But then everything changed. Investors believed in Tesla's alternating current vision and gave him funding to start his own company. He designed motors and generators that worked better than anything Edison had created. The rivalry between Tesla and Edison became legendary. Edison launched a campaign to prove alternating current was dangerous. He even electrocuted animals in public demonstrations, trying to scare people away from Tesla's invention. But Tesla fought back with style. At the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago, he illuminated the entire exhibition with alternating current. Hundreds of thousands of people witnessed light on a scale never seen before. Tesla had won. His greatest triumph came when he designed the power system for Niagara Falls. His alternating current generators would bring electricity to Buffalo, New York, and eventually to the entire world. At 40 years old, Tesla stood at the peak of human achievement. Money flowed in, fame followed, and the future seemed limitless. He dined with Mark Twain, socialized with the elite, and made bold predictions about wireless communication and remote-controlled devices. But Tesla wasn't satisfied with fame. He wanted to change the world again. He began working on wireless transmission of electricity, imagining a world where power traveled through the air like radio waves. With funding from J.P. Morgan, he built Wardenclyffe Tower on Long Island. This massive structure would broadcast electricity freely to anyone, anywhere. But Morgan realized something terrible. Free electricity meant no profit. If Tesla succeeded, Morgan couldn't charge people for power. The funding stopped. Wardenclyffe Tower was never completed. Tesla fell into crushing debt. The tower was demolished and Tesla's dreams crumbled with it. This failure broke something inside him. The descent into isolation happened gradually, then suddenly. Tesla moved from hotel to hotel, leaving behind unpaid bills. He stopped attending social events. He ate alone, always at the same table, always at 8:30 in the evening. He used 18 napkins to clean his silverware before every meal. If a fly landed on his table, he ordered entirely new food. His obsession with cleanliness became extreme. He wore white gloves constantly and refused to shake hands. If someone touched him, he felt contaminated. But the strangest obsession was yet to come. Tesla began spending hours every day in Bryant Park, feeding pigeons. He developed relationships with specific birds, claiming he could identify each one individually. Hotel staff watched in confusion as this once celebrated genius scattered breadcrumbs and spoke softly to the birds. Then one day, a white pigeon appeared. Tesla later wrote that he loved this bird as a man loves a woman. He claimed she understood him and visited his window every night. He said she had extraordinary intelligence, and they communicated without words. People whispered that Tesla had gone insane, but perhaps he had simply found the only companion who didn't want anything from him. Tesla continued making wild claims about inventions he never built. He announced a death ray that could destroy aircraft from hundreds of miles away. He described earthquake machines and weather control devices. Newspapers printed his statements, but few people believed him anymore. The genius had become a joke. By 1943, Tesla lived alone in room 3327 of the New Yorker hotel. The hotel allowed him to stay despite unpaid bills because management pitied him. Every day followed the same routine. Wake up. Feed the pigeons. Return to his room. Work on papers no one would ever see. He had no family, no close friends, and no money. Then one night, the white pigeon stopped coming to his window. Tesla searched for her desperately and found her dead in the park. He carried her body back to his room and wept. Years later, he would write that when that pigeon died, something inside him died too. He claimed a brilliant light shone from her eyes before she passed, and he knew his life's work was finished. After that night, Tesla stopped inventing. He stopped making predictions. He simply existed, counting his steps in multiples of 3 and waiting for death. On January 7, 1943, Tesla placed a "Do Not Disturb" sign on his door. He did this often, so hotel staff thought nothing of it. But 2 days passed with no sign of him. On January 8th, the maid used her key and entered. Tesla lay on his bed, dressed in his suit, hands folded across his chest. The official cause of death was coronary thrombosis. He was 86 years old. But the story didn't end there. Within hours of the body's discovery, agents arrived and seized everything. They took his notebooks, his papers, his sketches, and his personal belongings. The FBI claimed this was standard procedure for foreign nationals, but Tesla had become an American citizen decades earlier. Clearly, someone believed his papers contained dangerous secrets. The government assigned the case to John Trump, an electrical engineer from MIT and uncle to a future president. Trump examined Tesla's documents and concluded they contained no workable death ray or revolutionary weapons. The papers were declared safe and eventually released to Tesla's family. But many believe this was a cover-up. Think about the timing. America was deep in World War II. Scientists were racing to develop new weapons. Tesla had spent decades claiming he possessed knowledge of destructive devices. Why wouldn't the government investigate? Some researchers believe Tesla did create functional designs for advanced weapons, and those specific documents were never returned. Others think his mental decline meant his later work was worthless. The truth remains classified in some government archives to this day. What we do know is this: Tesla died owning nothing, but his inventions power everything. Every time you turn on a light, charge your phone, or use wireless technology, you're benefiting from Tesla's genius. The modern world runs on his ideas. Yet when he needed help, the world abandoned him. He gave us the future and received only pigeons and poverty in return. The irony cuts deep. Edison died wealthy and celebrated, even though Tesla's alternating current won the war of the currents. The companies that used Tesla's patents made billions, while Tesla made nothing. He signed away his royalty rights during financial desperation, and that single decision cost him everything. If he had kept just 1% of the royalties from his inventions, he would have died the richest man in America. Instead, he died alone in a hotel room, his only fortune measured in breadcrumbs saved for birds. Some say the white pigeon was a delusion born from isolation. Others believe Tesla truly loved that bird because she was the only living thing that never betrayed him, never stole from him, and never laughed at his dreams. When she died, perhaps he simply lost his last reason to keep fighting. Tesla was buried in Ferncliff Cemetery in New York. Years later, his ashes were moved to a museum in Belgrade, finally returning home. The museum displays his inventions, his awards, and his legacy. Thousands visit every year to honor the man who gave them electric light. But here's what they don't show you. They don't show the unpaid hotel bills. They don't show the lonely meals eaten with 18 napkins. They don't show the desperate letters begging for funding. They don't show the white pigeon he loved more than any human. And they certainly don't show the FBI agents seizing his final secrets. Tesla once said the present is theirs, but the future for which I really worked is mine. He was right. We live in Tesla's future now, but we forgot to give him a present worth living in. So the next time you flip a light switch, remember the man who died alone so you could see in the dark. And maybe, just maybe, scatter some breadcrumbs for the pigeons. Tesla would have wanted that. Retry.